While most indie roguelites are busy trying to copy the Hades series, Tears of Metal actually gets what makes the genre so addicting. It combines simple, honest combat with army building mechanics to deliver one of the most satisfying horde slayers we've seen in years. Hey folks, Dove here, and we're going to take a peek at Tears of Metal today and analyze why this indie hack and slash roguelite is pretty much separating itself from the rest of the pack. But let's just dive right in. Horde Slayer doesn't even begin to describe this one. Now, it's honestly like you step straight into one of those scenes in Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings where it's a massive battle and you're just one of these insanely powerful warriors swiping away dozens of enemies with just the flick of your wrist. You feel like an overpowered god at first, but the game does a great job at balancing that out with strategically placed enemies that are gonna command your attention. It's not all just swiping away the dozens. You're gonna have to parry, block, dodge out of the way, and time your attacks carefully to take down plenty of enemies. But it still gives you that amazing feel of just clearing away the masses like an unstoppable badass. And I can attest to that just amazingly addicting feeling. I went into this just expecting a standard 3D hack and slash and played the demo and enjoyed it. But when I got to the finished product here, or rather the early access product, I was truly amazed. It's simple and honest combat, and the hitboxes are legit. I never felt robbed or like any of the attacks just came out of the blue. If you're paying attention to the enemies, you can clearly see their attacks, and it feels like your own mistakes when you make them. Along with the amazing combat, Tears of Metal does an incredible job at the roguelite progression. And we're not just talking about the cool upgrades and abilities you get during your run. The meta progression here is spot on. You never feel like you're going to hit that proverbial wall that you have to grind through, but you also get enough upgrades where it feels like your character is improving each time you go through. There's always a companion to get better or, just a skill to enhance your next run. So they do a great job of that as well. Now let's break down that combat a little bit. As I mentioned before, the hitboxes are just spot on. You don't feel like you're getting hit by anything outside your zone, and you're definitely not getting pelted by phantom attacks. It's all honest combat. And I love the fact that they have a generous block and parry window, especially early on. You got a lot of things coming your way. You're trying to figure out what the exact art of the game is, including those counterattacks. So I appreciate that there's a little leeway here. You're not playing Sekiro or Nine Souls trying to perfectly balance things. It gives you a window of, being a badass, but also you have to pay attention or you're going to get smacked. And even with the generous block and parry windows that you have, this is no button masher. You definitely have to pay attention to your enemy and their attacks and use your defensive tools to the best of your ability. Your block, parry, dash, and your enemy can interrupt your chain attack. So remember, you're not an unstoppable god, but you are an overpowered badass, so keep it going. On top of all that, your clansmen aren't just background noise or anything like that. You actually have to organize them. You earn them after each run, unsuccessfully I might add, but you get to add a few, pick their upgrades, and organize which ones you get to take with. As you get your meta progression, you get to add more and more, and you might find a few companions on your way, which absolutely pack a punch and are very helpful on your runs. That brings us to the meta progression. Not only do you get to add a clansman, but you can upgrade a number of your abilities through the skill tree, or add different equipment that'll make your character hit harder. There's different characters to unlock, and of course, the most important, you can upgrade your clan between runs. This is where that meta progression really pops, because it makes it feel like each run, your character is definitely improving. And if you're not hitting harder with each hit, your clan is helping you take down those enemies. On top of the difference when it comes to upgrading your clan, the map here is different for a roguelite. Normally, you have to choose between two different doors or paths or whatever, but here you get to see the entire map. There's few roguelites out there that do it, but this is very well done, and you get to really pick the approach that you take to get to the final act boss. Either take a long way, get a lot of upgrades, but along that way increase the difficulty, or you can head straight to the act boss, but, you know, maybe be underpowered when you get there. I just appreciate the risk-reward factor isn't just limited to your abilities and upgrades. It's actually down to the very path and journey that your clan takes. I absolutely love how quickly this game hits. You don't have to memorize crazy button combinations. The controls feel smooth enough to where it's almost a free-flowing combat, and you never really feel out of breath or out of place. Tears of Metal overall hits, man. This is a great game, but the one flaw I could find is that quitting mid-run wipes your map progress and any run-specific upgrades, which kind of is a killer. Each map is really quick hitting, but if you have to power down because of a kid, work, or any number of reasons that you have to step away from the console or PC, well, you lose all your progress, and that can really kind of be a bummer for those of us who can't always give 20 to 30 minutes of undivided attention to a game. Now, there are plenty of roguelites that don't save mid-game progress for the very specific reason of gamers quitting mid-battle to regain progress. So it's not out of hand, but being able to leave mid-game might just put this one over the top for me. That brings us to the final verdict. This game is highly polished, it's got smooth performance, fluid animations, and amazingly tight balance throughout each mechanic. It shows that Paper Cult took their testing phase very seriously. Fans of horde slayers, action games, and roguelites who want rewarding long-term progression without death penalty frustration are really going to enjoy this. But if you've ever just thought about getting into the roguelite or hack and slash genre, this is the game that you're gonna want to try. If this is the starting line for early access, the final launch of Tears of Metal is gonna be something special. Tears of Metal currently on PC, looking to roll out to Xbox later in 2026, and we're all crossing our fingers for PS5 and Switch 2, but we have no official word yet. If you enjoyed this, folks, dropping a like and subscribing goes a long way towards us making more content. We have more reviews like this, a weekly news podcast, and of course, the Wishlist Hunter, some of the funniest stuff you're going to see on YouTube. So, thanks a lot for sticking around, folks, and as always, game on.